A government entering into a new one, and a lot has happened. More is yet to happen. People taking in oaths and all that. People handing over offices. Whatever it takes is going on. The other week we saw MPs taking oath. They voted for a speaker, and that means they're going to start serving this country in a new government 2021-26. We want to take an assessment this evening of how the 10th Parliament has really served Uganda, especially the side of government. Some time back, we had the chief whip of the opposition, that is Honorable Semjunganda, and we discussed how the opposition group really served the Ugandans. We want to look at the service of the group, the bigger group that has been in charge, not only in Parliament, but government in general, that is the NRM party in Parliament. And I think everyone can guess my guest, that's the Honorable Chief Whip outgoing of government in Parliament of the 10th Parliament. Her name is the Honorable Ruth Mamkabirwa. People call her Mama Chiboga, the lady from Chiboga, all her names. We have her on the show. Honorable, you're most welcome to One on One.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me this evening.
Yes.
And I greet everybody. I hope they will enjoy our interaction.
They must enjoy.
Yeah.
I looked for you for so many reasons. How are you generally? You as Mamkabirwa the person, how are you as we speak?
I am the same. I am the same. I am the same. I went through elections. I didn't make it to the 11th Parliament.
Okay.
But I had gone through national elections 6 times. I was soliciting for a 7th time. And people have been voting for me. So this time round, they made a change. And I took it as that.
How does it feel to lose an election?
For my case, I feel for the supporters because they were hit by the results. All people were collapsing, crying. And some of them, when they looked at me and I'm like, nothing, as if nothing has happened. They started gaining, but it was terrible. People gathered at home for 1 week. People collected cows for me. I was so touched. I had to take a lorry.
How did the news treat you that the declaration this time is not Ruth Mamkabirwa? First feel, what did it feel like, you the person?
You know, I've told you that I've been going for elections many times. I go, I train myself. I go for elections with the 2 options. And I appreciate and I teach myself, I talk to myself.
That anything can happen.
This time round might be the last time. This time round my results may, you never know.
Okay.
I go with that.
So this time.
And by the way, I've never been at a tally center. On election day, after elections, I go to the farm. I work because I don't want to sit there and begin developing anxiety. How is it going to be? How is it going to be? No. I just go to my plantation. By the time we realize they're about to read the results.
So you
never stepped at the tally center. Never. Never.
Do you keep your phones on or off?
When I'm in the field on that day, I don't hold my phone. I don't. Because I have agents, I have a political assistant, I have a system. I mean, a system I trust, a system that has seen me through a series of elections. Once you train people, there is no reason why you should sit at the tally center to fight yourself. Huh? What have you read there? You can collapse and you make news. So this time round, I had tuned myself and I was contented.
Okay.
Do you know going for elections? Because you had to. It was difficult to withdraw and then you go. But knowing that you have really served. That's how I felt. I have relaxed and I'm just waiting for what next.
You don't have a plan yourself?
Meanwhile, in terms of leadership or where can I contest now?
Okay.
My plan is consolidate what I've been doing on farm, bridge the gaps. And by the way, between 14th January and today, I have done tremendously well on my farm.
Okay.
I have been able to see the gaps, and my workers are happy. They can talk to me and I listen, and I'm not in a hurry. So,
are you saying serving us, the people of Uganda, has been taking a lot of your personal time?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, including time for my children. Because nobody will deceive you that you can balance.
Okay.
There is no balance. It is like this, unless you don't want to perform. I don't call myself a failure. Mamkabirwa lost. She lost. I didn't lose. It's the people of Chiboga who lost.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you say that? Just break that down.
Because where I had reached, I was working only for Chiboga district.
Not yourself?
Not myself. Myself was taking just. But you see, somebody has to buy a house, has to buy a car, has to invest here. I did that in the first 10 years. So now I could afford to do things which are not even found in any other constituencies. You go to Chiboga and you will see these solar lights, very expensive. Deep in the towns there, people gather there at night and they do their businesses, chapati, what.
Courtesy of Mamkabirwa.
Yes. And I'm like, oh. And each one costs 7 million. Each one of them. Each one of them. And nobody has asked you for that. And that is not your role as an legislative. But I loved the district, and I started handling it as if I'm handling, my last born. Okay. Whatever nice thing you see, you take. Churches, mosques, what?
I saw Parliament organizing kind of counseling and things like that for MPs that lost their constituencies. Is it relevant in your view?
That should be done at the beginning, not at the end. During the
orientation?
People have already lost. They have already lost time to plan well, to be cautious. After 5 years, you are now going out. And the most important thing is to tell you as you enter into a business that after 5 years, one of the two things will happen.
Okay.
You will either lose elections or you will be returned. Two things will happen. Because I see the way people react, it's as if they thought that there was a guarantee that you have to be the one.
Forever.
Forever and ever.
So somebody has to be prepared.
Induction at the beginning is very key. People are moving around, these MPs. Abafere, I have gold, I have this. I have been here and I have seen members of parliament losing money because of fake businesses. And then how to invest your little money. I mean, for you to get 20 million shillings, 25 million shillings monthly, and you walk out of parliament poor, it is unacceptable. Men and women have to be told how to behave themselves. You've come here when you're married, you have to maintain your marriage.
Who is to blame for such things?
I am not.
Isn't it you leaders in the parties that bring these MPs? Is your role as parties only giving me a ticket and helping me get to parliament? Don't you have a role to play with molding me socially and keeping me in the straight line?
Exactly. That is why before members of parliament are sworn in, for my party, they are taken to Chankwans.
Okay.
Some of you people think that we take those people to Chankwans because of the speakership race. Not at all. Not at all. If I tell you the topics.
You didn't want me to say that.
Because I read about it
already.
and I'm pissed off.
Is all that discussed?
There are topics for Senga and Koja. Yes. I and Justin Lumumba Kasule, we do that role very well. There are topics on decorum, how you present yourself, how you dress up. But some characters are difficult. You tell them, and they are like that.
They'll never change.
Yes. But as an institution, the induction that is done, and I will request Right Honorable Jacob Olanya to organize an elaborate induction
for all,
which does not stop at observing the rules of procedure, decorum, and you know those things. We have to go beyond.
Conduct in general of an MP.
Yeah. We have to go beyond.
You have been the chief whip in the 10th Parliament. How would you rate the performance of your team? And what are those milestones you really can point at?
We have performed at the 10th Parliament. The bills that were prepared by government were passed.
All of them?
All of them, save for a few which were returned by the president.
After you had passed them
After we had passed. I don't think there is a legislation that's stalled. Even the what I can call, what appear to be the most difficult legislations, we passed them.
Which one of those?
Only one amendment. The amendment, the constitution amendment number 1 was on land. That one we didn't conclude.
Why?
It required consultations. Land is very sensitive. As we were deliberating, there were people talking about how the NRM is planning to steal your land. Blackmailing government, blackmailing NRM, blackmailing President Museveni, blackmailing members of NRM that wanted to take people's land. Yet that land question has to be dealt with. It affects the progress of major programs like infrastructure programs done by government, where one person will say, me, I'm not leaving. This is ancestral land.
I think where people misunderstood the law is the provisions that were on table in such a situation. That Mamkabirwa says she will not leave this particular area, but all her neighbors have accepted.
This Entebbe Express, there is somewhere where somebody buried an empty grave. You know, he said this is our graveyard because they compensate you each grave. So he made sure that she buries. It was the LC1 chairman who said, when did you bury these people? You know, and asking for a lot of money. And then when you get the government valuer, he makes a value, you go to court, you say you are not satisfied, then you court order, stop the program, the project, then money is on, it's a loan, government is losing, Ugandans are losing because of this one person. But the road has been constructed so many kilometers.
It's just one point where
just one point
is causing a problem.
So we wanted to make an amendment to say, after all, the right for compulsory acquisition is given in the Constitution.
Yes.
You can't say no. The second thing is, first pay me before you take land, which is reasonable. But as we were preparing to pay you,
you caused the drama yourself.
Yes. So how do we cure that? And we were saying as government that we go to court and say, this is the money that the government valuer valued. This is the value. And we have deposited it. Allow us continue. If
we'll sort this person later.
If your case, because the person has taken you to court, if it so happens that you needed much more money, we will top up. Instead of holding.
If court finds it.
If court finds it, yes. Then government will have to make a
So
top
that
up.
particular bill stalled just because of the talk within the public?
Yeah, the president is a listener. He had to listen, and he had even started going on radio himself.
Yes, I remember.
You know, to explain. To explain. So we did conclude. But we have to, the 11th Parliament has to conclude that. Because we've seen projects really
So
stalling.
one of the expected assignments of the 11th Parliament
Is
will
to
be
conclude.
that land amendment
And it's,
that you did not conclude as the 10th Parliament.
yeah.
Which other amendment had...
Constitutional Amendment Bill number 2, which removed the age limit, which amended Article 102B and some other articles. That one, it was as if we were committing suicide or we were doing something illegal, you know. Tojukwatako, tojja. I mean, why? And to the extent of fighting. So the fight went on. And if you can recall, I used to tell Ugandans that this thing will be done.
But
And it will be over. And it will be done in the House. Because we were elected to come and debate, discuss.
I want to ask you something. This one had a lot of talk with even a fight, but you passed it. How come the land one, the one to do with land, stalled just because of talk, even when the president himself went on radios? What is the difference between the two? How come the other one was passed, regardless of the fights and the talk and everything, yet this one had to stall?
The other one touches people's lives. Land can cause a coup in Uganda, everywhere. That is people's life. It is irreplaceable. Removal of age limit is not about people's lives.
Why do you think people had to take it that serious to an extent of fighting?
That's character.
Really?
Yeah.
But they have not fought over other bills that have been passed in that parliament.
That is character. You ask the people who fought.
You were
Their
with them.
character.
These
Their
are your
character.
colleagues.
Zake. There are people who were not brought up. They just grew like Jamera Jane, abusing the president, abusing us, abusing everybody. And there are many in this 11th Parliament. I pitied the next government chief whip. The good thing is that it is Jacob Olanya in the chair. He will be able to guide and to bring everybody. He's not vindictive.
So it was about character, not the nature of the bill.
It was about character. People who said they will never accept anything, except they accepted to be sworn in. I wish they also defied. We are not swearing in. They were saying, Museveni tajja kulaira, but for them they were going to kulaira. Eh? Tajja kulaira. But for you, you are going to be sworn in.
So horrible. The land issue stalled, but you passed this one. What else did you pass in terms of constitutional amendments? Were they only those two?
Yeah, for this term, yes.
So what other milestones are there in terms of legislation as the 10th Parliament, especially your team?
No, like I told you, my role is simple. There is no single financial year where the budget was not appropriated. Even under COVID, we appropriated the budget.
Okay.
That is very important.
We know that as a country under a multi-party dispensation, caucusing is unavoidable. There is too much complaints about how you come up with bills, when some people in the public domain don't agree with some provisions. No. For example, you have talked about the budgets. Sometimes they come when some essential commodities have high prices, high taxes imposed on them, which interpret or translate into high prices, and the people in Chiboga, the people deep in Kamoli, deep in Kisoro, really feel they're not catered for.
Those people deep in Kisoro, they have a very good road. They used not to have that road going up through. It's a very nice road which has opened its sorrow, and people are getting money. Those people in northern Uganda are enjoying peace. In the budget, we include budget for defense to keep Uganda peaceful. What we have to think about is to help our societies, like those who are engaged in agriculture, because in this year's budget and in this Chisanja, commercial agriculture is #1. Instead of selling raw maize or maize grain, can we add value so that we export maize flour? Can we build storage silos so that somebody does not rush to sell maize when the value is low, the cost, the prices are down? Can we? That is what we have to think about. But we have to get money to work.
Exactly.
Government has to, even in America, where except for them, they have a system of paying tax without knowing that you are paying tax on everything. They tax everything, but they do it in such a way that you may not even realize.
So how considerate are you, those of you who go to the caucus? What kind of considerate ideas do you throw in there that favor your people deep in the villages? Because at the end of the day, yes, somebody has a road, but it is an achievement in a long run. He needs paraffin, the candle in the house. If this paraffin is too expensive for her or him, it's really a hard time.
The paraffin is too expensive because he doesn't have something to do. He has no job. Then the paraffin becomes too expensive. When we say we are commercializing agriculture, when we say we are bringing wealth creation funds, when we say we are bringing myonga, when we say we are organizing you into cooperatives, societies, we want to help you earn money from your little land, so that you are able to buy yourself paraffin. So
how would you rate the performance of those initiatives that are in place to fight poverty? Myoga, youth livelihood.
Myoga has just come. The youth livelihood analysis was given by Bijirimana, who was the permanent secretary who
Minister
started
of Gender,
this. And the ratings were high, except that they return, because they are supposed to return the money, rotate so that it rotates. But the youth got money, youth groups.
Oh,
so
no.
I don't have the figures.
Okay. But do you have groups, you know, in Chivoga, for example,
yes,
that are beneficiaries of a Myoga?
Yes. Myoga started from Chivoga.
Really?
Yes. Myoga, if I tell you how it started, I'm the patron of the group that started that idea, that sold that idea to the president.
People are successful and earning money.
Make people, let people organize in their own specialties, sharing same enterprise, help them.
What has slowed the money from Myoga?
The process of registering a savings and credit cooperative is long, and the commissioner of cooperatives is one alone in the country.
So how are we solving that?
It's been solved. Uganda is not ending tomorrow. You begin that system, move to the target, move slowly but sure.
But people have plans. People want money to start work.
Yes, we have not closed the microfinance.
When it gets too slow.
We have not closed the microfinance support center. Are you aware? I'm a former minister of state for microfinance. I know that we have microfinance support center and other microfinance institutions which are helping us get get access to affordable loans. That one is also working. We have other people, by the way, who have been cooperating, like Wazalendo Circle, the police circle. The circles are there, people are borrowing money.
Have you heard of the complaints from the members in those circles, Honorable, for example? Have you heard of the complaints?
Complaints will always be there. You have complaints with your people at home. Complaints will always be there. Listen to them and then rectify. To have 50,000 people cooperating, it's not easy. Actually, we made the soldiers do compulsory saving. 5,000, others like you want, but saving was compulsory. It's now like a bank. Where a soldier can borrow money, buy mabati, and begin constructing a house. So, what is important is to make sure that the laws we make, the budget we pass, will benefit the people. But people will benefit more if they have what to do in kind of income generation.
How far have we scored on that, ensuring that our people have what to do?
In Uganda, for example, people have planted coffee.
Okay.
Coffee has increased. Coffee production has increased. Second enterprises in Irish potatoes in Kabale, there are like 12 enterprises. And people are yearning for more and more. You
have passed the laws, you have passed the budgets, and you actually consider the man at the ground when you are deliberating on all this.
If you don't, you will go back and they will ask you, why didn't you do this? Because when we go for recess, we expect you to interact with your people.
Do you?
As Mamkabirwa, yes, or as all of us?
As MPs, but I'm now talking to Mamkabirwa.
Mamkabirwa has been going there almost every weekend. You are there.
Let's take a very short break, Honorable. On return, we're going to talk about more of that. To you watching, do not make any mistake of going anywhere. It's UBC One-on-One. Wait.
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles. MTN.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Yes, thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. It's UBC One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa. We are with the Honorable Ruth Mamkabirwa, outgoing Chief Whip of Government in the 10th Parliament. Honorable, how would you rate the 10th Parliament in general? Out of 10, I want you to award yourself marks.
Out of 10, I think we got 7.
Why?
There are instances where we debated, we spent time.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time debating certain issues, and sometimes we begin late. Okay, we've been seeing Parliament starting late, and then before COVID, ending at night. Okay. And
so
then,
the reason you used to end at night is because you had begun late?
Yes, and it inconveniences even because we are covered live, yes, on UBC.
Actually, for us, that side, we would look and see empty chairs at 2, at 3. Where do you guys always keep?
So I cannot cover that because I know you saw us. I cannot cover that.
Yes, where are you always? By 2 p.m. we expect you to be on air.
Coming works the government chief whip out. It works me out. Especially when you are a minister who is on order paper. Late coming, absenteeism, when you know you have an issue in the house. And then the decorum. This parliament fought. People fought in the house. That was, and I belonged to that house.
But I've interviewed somebody, part of the group, where that happened, and he said, we never fought our fellow MPs. There was an invasion from outside Parliament, and the group that came actually came to fight us. So it was
an
not
invasion which found a calm Parliament.
I asked exactly that.
A
and he
calm
said,
Parliament transacting, and then all of a sudden,
he says they have a right to exchange, to sing, to cause problems amongst themselves as MPs.
No, that is not part of our decorum. It's not.
But what is your view about the group that came to calm the situation, to take these people, whatever they came to do? Was that right?
That was a seat of power which was threatened. The mess, that mess which they hand over,
yes,
that metallic thing, was guarded by 2 sergeants. One holding here, another one holding here.
That is the team of the sergeant at arms.
Yes.
Exactly. And
yes,
they, the people supposed to guard it?
Yes, but they were overwhelmed. I am telling you, it was on record. People watched how people were misbehaving. Not only on that day, they planned for it. They came with the whistles. They blew whistles. They sang anthems in the house.
The group that came after
they don't know.
Parliament had been adjourned.
And where had
the sitting had been adjourned?
Where had people gone? Eh? How many wars have you ever fought? What is your rank? What is your rank, Michael? What is your rank?
I fight with my microphone before
at
that
least,
camera.
At least me, I have an idea because I spent 8 years with those people. I have an idea. People fought. Zake was throwing chairs. One of the staff was hit by the chair and was rushed to hospital. It split his forehead. So they did not succeed anyway. And I think that was a message. You cannot let honorable members of parliament.
What do you mean that was a message? From who to who?
A message from government. That was government protecting that arm. There are people who are paid to do that, to protect you, to protect courts.
And you're to blame as the NRM side in a way. How did you fail to convince these people to move with you in the same line? Doing whatever it would take.
Are we dealing with stones?
Of course you're dealing with human beings.
So?
If government managed to bring in a group that handled them that way, how come you didn't prepare a way of handling them softly, even if it would take a whole year?
Which softly? Can you tell me how you can handle Zake softly?
He's a human being.
Yeah, so you think human beings are soft?
Yes,
Ooh.
To a certain extent.
Ooh. Then you land into problems. You have to study human beings. You have to study. There are people who have nothing to lose at all. You ask this Makerere man, Nawangwe, who met Zake at Parliament. I mean...
Who do we blame it for? Is it you, the leaders in Parliament? We had the Speaker, a Deputy, you, the 2 whips on both sides, and the leader of opposition actually had forgotten.
Here, I'm not seeing anybody to blame.
Me, an outsider, will first, in a family, I will first ask the mother, father, firstborn.
Everything was done, but you know, you talk to your child, you caution him, you say, please, it has to be like this, and the child refuses to pay heed.
Okay.
And then it happens.
About the issue of character you mentioned.
Character like Chibaria recently.
Yes.
Honorable Chibalia stood up and said, this Mamkabirwa here, she has been posting on WhatsApp groups that SEC has already decided, SEC has decided, the State House has decided. Because there was camera. What he was saying was not true. Mamkabirwa was in the house. So Mamkabirwa stood up to explain. And she was not given a chance by the presiding officer at that time. I stood up to say, please, but you could hear Mbwate Kamwa really barking. Order, order, what is that? We are supposed to be friends.
You know, Honorable, you brought that as I was going to ask you exactly.
We are supposed to be...
You had mentioned Zake as an example of character a number of times, and I wanted to ask you, this is just one man. How can he hold the whole house to ransom?
Oh, there are many. There are many. Mbwate Kamwa here. You said Chukubo there. Nsamba. Ooh. And it's like...
You're mentioning a group of people that you are always not agreed with. Am I wrong?
There are many whom I don't agree with, but we are in terms. But these other ones, they treat us as if, and yet you go outside there, some of them come to me for help, but on the floor.
Of course, on the floor you are government and opposition.
Why?
Isn't it supposed to be
why
that
back
way?
at me? Why back?
Honorable,
What? Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you why people back at you, Honorable. You are looked at as somebody who makes statements that are provocative to the opposition colleagues.
No, this case of Chibalia.
Besides that,
do you know?
So maybe they handle you that way because of whom they know
in the
you
house,
are.
You are not supposed to make sweeping statements without substantiation. You have to lay on table. Chibalia would have made a printout on the so many WhatsApp groups and lay on table the evidence.
To substantiate that you said
yes,
so.
And the speaker or the presiding officer is supposed to call for that. We are not even supposed to debate things that appear in papers. You can't bring, those are rules. But you stand up and say, this Mamkabirwa here, Chief Whip here, is, you know, if I say that that one was playing to the gallery, am I wrong?
How would you describe the kind of leadership we have had in the 10th Parliament?
The top leadership has been
Give them marks out of 10.
It will be very difficult because we had one player in the field. It was only on very rare occasion that the deputy speaker would chair. Well, if I can give marks maybe to the one who has been working.
Okay, then go on with that.
Yeah, she has stamina.
Okay.
Rebecca Kadaga has that stamina of sitting for a long time. By the way, she's not good. You can end up...
I think it's good basing on the motive.
Developing...
When it comes to serving your nation...
You know, when you're in that chair, you don't even go out. While the other colleagues, they escape, they go take some water, even a cup of tea in the canteen, come back.
For you may not.
They don't. The speakers don't. There must be a reason why you adjourn or you suspend the house. There must be a reason.
Isn't that a very high level of patriotism?
Yes.
So you credit her on that?
I credit her on that.
Why do you think the deputy speaker was, like you said, he rarely chaired House?
The speaker could not allow him.
Really?
Yeah.
Honorable, give facts to that.
You know it. You know it. You know it. There are many times when even the deputy speaker robed, dressed to chair parliament, and he said, no, speaker is coming.
Really?
Yeah. The man had gone to the village there because he knows he's not going to chair. Then you call him, come, yes, you'll chair. Then you come, and as you dress up, say, no. Actually, she said she's coming to chair. Jacob Olanya, now the Right Honorable Speaker, was not given enough opportunity to really But the few times he chaired, we transacted business. You know,
Maybe
that
it depends
now,
on who.
Now this bill will go. Because there is a way Jacob Olanya guides you. You don't just jump and you let 2 hours for people making, you know. And yet we have a day.
Isn't that a rush into passing some?
We have a day where members are supposed to ask questions, Prime Minister, what?
Honorable, when you say you don't take an hour handling an issue, then don't you rush into passing some issues?
Have you visited some Commonwealth parliaments? Do you know how many minutes they take in transacting a bill? It does not take forever. You know, 40 minutes. 30 minutes. A bill, you know, clause by clause. Here we do, what about this? What? We anticipate, we do what? Okay, tomorrow.
Paying attention to detail. Okay, Honorable.
Yes.
The Parliament now has a new leadership in the Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, whom we congratulate on this show, by the way. What do you think about the way the election of the Speaker went and how it ended?
This time round, there was something that shocked me.
What was that?
Because since 2006, I think, even beyond 2006, even when we were under the movement system, government has always prepared, you know, the members of parliament on this to make sure that we harmonize positions so that when we go to plenary, we will just support the people we have zeroed on. That's what I called negotiations, you know? Yeah. This time round, it was a shock when the high-level organ of my party took a decision. And one of the members of that organ defied the decision.
What do you think caused the tension? Is it because somebody
The
defied
campaigns were so... It was a... I don't know what word I can use. I've never seen this. People campaigning day and night.
Honorable, were you campaigning for anyone? Yourself?
No,
Really?
I was not campaigning for anyone, but I was making statements which were favoring one candidate.
Isn't that campaigning?
No, I did not tell anybody to vote for Olanya. I'm on record on...
You didn't campaign for Olanya, but
I
you
did
made
not.
statements.
I did not belong to any campaigning team. I didn't. My first appearance actually was at Sheraton when I was invited for prayer breakfast. At Sheraton, when we were going for, SEC the following day, I think.
Yes.
It was prayer breakfast. I said, let me go and we pray. But because I have been attending these negotiations right from Mamkabirwa, Yume, Sekandi, what. Smooth negotiations. Tension is always there in SEC, in those caucus meetings, the tension is okay. Once you decide from the caucus, you know that Chiwed. After that, I heard that Taiwa said is coming as independent. First time to hear that. Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga is coming as independent. She's even going to address them. But that one I had heard that if SEC doesn't, yeah, you will come independent. I had heard that people were saying, like, encouraging her to really come as independent.
People were encouraging her. It wasn't her idea.
Honorable Basalirwa was on the floor of Parliament. Sewungu, Honorable. So I was speaking.
Why do you think people chose to go independent?
I think
Was there unfairness? Was there unfairness
No,
within
there was
the proceedings in SEC?
There was no unfairness. Honorable Taiwa had his ground. The votes he got weren't few, 146.
If you would allow me to quote the Right Honorable Kadaga, in the press conference at Africana, she said, you know, my party officials have been fighting me for almost a year now. That is one. Two,
don't repeat those statements,
even in
please.
SEC, I was not allowed to
Now,
say anything. Is that fair to you?
Now, I didn't want to make comments on such, but it's unfortunate if really she thinks she was mistreated. Very unfortunate, because in SEC, she was told her performance, recorded, okay? And she was given an opportunity to say something. She defended herself on certain issues, on some she could not because they were technically gathered. Recordings, audios, all that, they were technically gathered, okay? But she was given a chance to explain, especially the issue of money. She was given a chance to explain.
Issue of money?
Yes.
Which money?
During campaigns, people were gathering in hotels, home, what, and they were giving out money, transport, lunch, all that.
Okay.
And some members of SEC were concerned and said that could be bribery or whatever. There were T-shirts, there were what. But a supporter can do that on your behalf. That cannot be strong enough to
be blamed on someone.
Yes, to be blamed on someone. But to tell you the truth and to tell the entire country the truth, the candidates were given time to talk, to clarify issues. What I think she wanted to do was to be given a chance to address now the caucus,
Okay.
because this was SEC. But you can't address the caucus when you have been dropped down.
Within the SEC.
Within the SEC. The other time, when Olanya was told to step down, was he given a chance again to go and address the caucus? No. We were not reinventing the wheel.
How about the claim that actually there have been fights against her? Does it count now?
Well,
Actually, she quoted the SEC elections where it said, again, a big group of members in the party were at work to see her out. Just
when there is a contest, and it's one position, and two people want it, obviously, both of you will have people who are supporting you. You have your people who are supporting you, you have those who don't support you. If somebody doesn't support me, can I say that she's fighting me?
The school of thought must be something wrong. Bad blood between you and the Right Honorable Kadaga at a personal level.
Bad girl. Like
you could have disagreed at a certain point.
On what?
Tell us.
I've never thought of becoming a speaker.
Why have you featured so much?
Because I say the truth, because I attend meetings, because I am there to witness.
We wind up with the NRM. Where does the Monday fracas leave you as a party? How? You're a party known for building big trees in this country. People into big trees. Mamkabirwa Ruth is no longer a small name in this country. The NRM has built. Rebecca Kadaga is that big name, international and all that. The way she was, like I asked, when there are ways the NRM would handle this to make sure that it didn't end the way it ended.
But, my dear,
isn't it the NRM's loss for the name Kadaga to end the way it ended on Monday?
How did it end? She lost an election.
Yes.
Is that people lose? Trump lost. People lose elections. You mean you go to contest?
Trump lost against the Democrats. This was Kadaga losing against her own NRM member, NRM colleague.
She lost at SEC. She was given an opportunity to do like Olanya did. Okay, you found me wanting, I'm stepping down. But you volunteer to that situation yourself. Because you feel you've been mistreated, people love you, people appreciate you, people will give you votes. SEC left you at that, went with their candidate, campaigned for their candidate, and the candidate won. And you were able to garner a good number of votes. That's where we ended. And it's going to be a big lesson and a good one to all of us. The Baganda have a saying that akusigula takuwasa. Akusigula takuwasa.
Having been a member, senior at that, don't you think as the NRM again,
let me tell you, it will be over. Not a lot of power, come on. Not a lot of power. Not a lot of power. We wanted a win. Do you just say, oh, Bambi, let me also give these votes to my opponent so that she does not come out without votes? We don't do that in election. You don't take pity on your opponent to say that.
At that point, she was an opponent.
Let me reserve. Opponent to Olanya, opponent to a flag bearer. At that point, she was an opponent, the flag bearer. But the party will sort it out. She's a member of the Central Executive Committee.
Okay.
Where she erred, she just needs to say sorry.
In fact, is it true that you have asked the Honorable Kadaga to apologize to the party?
I am just petitioning.
You are not asking?
I am petitioning the Secretary General, because see her coming down to apologize to first of all, the president, the chairman of the party, the Central Executive Committee where she's a member, and the entire party. It will be bad. It will be a bad precedent.
Do you have to demand for it?
It will be. It
especially
is a request.
As Ruth Mamkabirwa.
It is a request because that is the best way to get back together.
Won't you catalyze people that are misunderstanding you to be against her personally?
No, I'm just helping her. How does she come back again to sit with the SEC members? Do we just keep quiet? Nothing happened.
Why are you doing it the public way?
Because you have asked me.
No, I first heard it.
You have asked me. I have written.
Okay.
I have written. I've written and helps her to do that. Because the party, she has done great to the party, and the party has also done the same.
Just like she needs the party needs her.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. The party needs her, she needs the party.
Did you interpret that with the drama on Monday, with whatever happened on Monday? Was that really evident anywhere?
But what happened on Monday?
There was
What happened on Monday?
Seeing her out of office of speaker.
Was she dragged out?
No, she wasn't. But the energy to see her out was really evident.
Which energy? That was a campaign. Campaigning for speakership. Please don't overdram it. She sat quietly. Right Honorable Olanya sat there, and other people, and the election process started. No, then at the end of it, she stood up and went and congratulated Honorable Olanya. Now, what is it that happened to her? What is it?
To you, it's something light.
And people should know that you go for elections, like I went for elections, and I was beaten. I didn't lose. I was beaten. And life has to continue. And you cannot begin saying that the people of Chiboga, they are bad. No, they just make a choice.
Thank you so much, Honorable. You've talked about the people of Chiboga. I'll give them a second for a message from you in Luganda, actually, through this camera in front of you.
Abantu be Chiboga, mbakubiriza kimu kyokka nti obululu bwaggwa. Obululu bwe bubanga bwaggwa buli muntu kati atuwe. Njagala bakozi njagala bakozi ate mulekeraawo okusongaganamu engalo. N'akalulu ka sipiika nako kawedde. N'ebirala bijja kuggwa. Naye nga mbeebaza siyinza kwekokkola abantu b'ekibuga olw'okubanga ekisanja kino tebankomezaawo no. Mbeebaza kuntegeka.
Tolina ababaka bonna bwa 226 gye bali.
Bwebwo bakimanyi 226 nyinza okubeera consultant.
We thank you so much for watching. That's the Honorable Ruth Mamkabirwa, former woman MP for Chiboga District, and also the immediate outgoing Chief Whip of Government Chief Whip. Michael Jordan Lukomwa is my name. Enjoy the rest of the night. Bye-bye.